I come turns, and by far the most, I did not at all see the end of that happening. Did anybody know that that was going to happen? What a great little cliffhanger for the first season premiere. I should say the second premiere, excuse me.
Yeah, no, I totally analyzed that scene and
Yeah.
predicted everything.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You knew as soon as they saw the stag, oh yeah, Carl's going to get shot. Absolutely.
Well, if we want to speak about that first,
I do. I can't not because it's still so haunting in my mind. Go ahead.
It works so well because we see that great scene of Rick, praying, and like
Right.
Rick, we want the same hope, and so we assign that
Yeah.
same value to the deer. What was it? Moose?
Stag,
Stag,
buck,
stag,
Okay.
whatever.
So we assign that same value, and it's so long, and you're like, oh,
Finally,
Yeah.
something almost
Something
pristine,
good
pure
in
in the
this
forest.
horrifying world.
Exactly. And and I was thinking, are they going to shoot the deer? Are they going to shoot it for food? But and then no, it's a pure moment. It's an innocent moment until somebody else shoots the deer. And then tragically, I'm sorry, I'm only laughing because it's the irony and the tragedy of it all. I just was stunned by that. I was not at all ready for it.
Yeah.
So, but I thought it was a great little cliffhanger. I mean, that's going to set the tone for the next couple of shows for sure.
absolutely. And it was you who, or at least maybe Ben as well, but that talked about the symbolism of it was always like go with your father, go with your father. No, I don't want
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing I was talking about. Is that he always, Carl always wanted to go with his dad and all that. And they kept protecting him because as a parent, you always want to protect your kid. So no, you're not ready. And then finally they go, okay, yeah, I guess you should go. In fact, Mom Lori even said, when did you start growing up? And then and then of course, as soon as you let him out of your sight, oh man, I can't even imagine. So.
But is it now kind of half complicated in terms of its symbolism because Shane was there too and he's trying to split away.
Yeah.
And obviously he had ties to the kid, but he was trying to be.
Yeah, he was trying to create some sort of separation so the kid wouldn't take it so hard when he did leave. So a little separation going on. Pretty now,
Now he'd be a total asshole to leave.
yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. Is that either that or he's like, just get out now. They've got enough to deal with, and my being in the situation just makes it worse.
I noticed he did not rush to Shane.
No.
Or he didn't rush to Carl.
Carl.
It looked like Rick was the only really concerned one. I mean, I don't know if Shane was.
I don't know. I
Gonna use
didn't really see his
that
face
lack
because
of
I was watching
care
Rick, but maybe he was just in shock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't think Shane's in the background being like, oh, this is good for me. How do
no,
I
I
use
don't
this?
think that part of it, but and I agree, he's not that bad. But I also don't think him being like he's so selfless as Rick seems to be that he would go there and run first or anything like that. I don't find him to be that kind of guy either.
Yeah.
So it's kind of I guess it was played just right then. So, but what a great. I mean, and then you don't know obviously. I mean, in this kind of show, I don't know if this kid's gonna survive.
I don't know.
You just made the point
yeah.
as we were watching. Anybody could get killed except maybe Rick.
Yeah, I mean that's what we love about the show, and it's interesting. Kind of as I started watching this at the beginning, it seemed like a lot of them were alive because we know from I believe it was episode 3 last season, the whole attack on their camp. They pretty much killed half their group.
Yeah.
And as I'm watching this, I was there's still a lot of people alive. I thought we killed more than that.
We didn't know
Yeah,
the body count.
Ben, what
We
thoughts?
lost so many people and even more split off. I was kind of shocked to see that.
How few?
No, how many there
How
were.
many there were?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a lot of people there for the amount that died.
Do you know the percentages, Ben? You're like one of those whiz kids.
The percentages.
How many people were killed off? I don't know the number.
Okay, there was Amy. There was wife beater. There was Joe or Jim. John, Joe, Jim.
There was a
whatever.
doctor from the CDC, but we don't really count him.
He doesn't.
No.
Black lady. I'm
And
so good at
I hope
names.
you didn't
I'm
go there.
sorry.
I hope you knew her name.
No, but he doesn't
so
have the
that's
names.
four.
I mean,
I want to say more died.
And then
And then
still
the
in question.
family of 3 split off. So that's
Okay, the
7.
family
well,
left.
still talking about the old camp and then how many were left over. You were making a point. Let's explore this about the new rules, so to speak. In the first 6 episodes last season, of course, hardly any rules, just survive, right?
Yeah, and I kind of want to get your take on this because as a writer, the first season was all about survival.
Yeah.
There was no real plan. It was just like, okay, let's kind of create a community so we can figure out and actually stay
Yeah,
together, survive, and have.
comfort in numbers as well as safety.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how you have to get band together in order to survive.
But what is your thoughts for this season? Because it can't just be again just survive.
Yeah, if it becomes just survival, that gets exhausting and boring. So they'll bring in other motivations, obviously. For me, I'm guessing if you're doing this kind of a show, you're going to want to try to figure out how to stop this, how to turn the tide, to change things, such that you're not always in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Try to figure out why it's happening, what you can do to stop it, and turn it back.
And you think that the thing I get from this is it's going to come down to Rick.
Yeah.
And I liked how the wife stood up for him. Like,
She's
hey,
great.
That was
I love the way
really
she called.
good
Because I had to say it. Just about a minute before she called everybody out. And by the way, this is when Lori's in the woods, and she calls out everybody in there. And
Andrea.
basically says, "Quit whining." Because about a minute before that, I was thinking to myself, is anybody going to tell those whiners to shut up?
It was getting irritating.
It was.
And you're like, can I have a gun?
Exactly.
God.
I just wanted somebody to shut up. Do you realize what's going on? Does anybody not have some sort of selfish, narcissistic bone?
understand.
Exactly. It's like,
The gravity of the situation.
yeah, and I was really thankful that somebody did it. I love the way they did it, and Lori, she said it so succinctly,
Shut
and
up.
powerfully.
Take the gun if you
exactly.
want it.
Here, shut up. Stop your looks.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. That was great. I loved it.
Well, it's interesting too because the reason why they did it, the reason why they're blaming Rick is because it's easier to blame someone else, and then
But isn't that human nature?
It
You
is.
want somebody else to take care of things, and when it doesn't go right, you get somebody to blame in the process.
But that's also why I think that's why the church I feel was a big important scene because okay, Rick's passing on blame, or not, or at least he's not passing on blame, but he's trying to gain hope.
Yeah, and he wants
from a greater being
he
rather
wants
than
something
himself.
outside of himself to either give him a sign, give him some encouragement, something to let him know he's doing the right thing.
So I think
we always doubt ourselves.
I think it's always ironic, like in those situations, again, we search for the higher entity.
Yeah. We always do. So then now we're speaking to the point about how the new rules that are occurring for the group. Because it was all about surviving. Now, if we're going to be a group, we've got to have some sort of. If we're a society, in order for us to live in a society, there's usually some sort of rules. And so they were talking about the gun control. We called the gun control rule.
Yes.
Only people who either are trained can carry a gun or aren't going to kill themselves can carry a gun. Yeah.
If you're gonna kill yourself, you don't get one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and here's the thing. I mean, it does put everybody in jeopardy if somebody just doesn't know how to operate a gun, of course, because obviously the sound's going to attract all the
Yeah,
other walkers.
that's a huge point. Like
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain not a single gun was fired in this because it's always a question of are you going to attract more? And
Yeah.
again, it goes back to survival. Like, is
Right.
this a good choice?
Yeah.
Should we actually do that?
But the reason why they're keeping away from her, I loved her argument. I mean, for Dale to keep the gun away from her, then not only are we talking about gun control, dying with dignity. So it's another societal issue that they're dealing with on this primitive state because it's a primitive society in a sense. But I thought that was fascinating because she had a great argument. Who the hell is he to stand in her way? Whatever she wants to do.
I think it's also interesting too. Very reminiscent. As we're kind of heading into the election and all that. It's almost easy when it's abstracted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
But as you said, it is a primitive society, and what I think I'll give my word of it. It's more personal. You know what I mean? So it's not
Yeah,
like
when they were portraying it here, you mean?
Yes.
It's easy to talk about the abstract, but when you're actually involved in it, it's a whole different matter. Is that what you're talking about?
exactly
Okay.
because you can't just say, oh, I think in order to make our society better,
Yeah.
we need this.
Exactly.
Oh, do you mean I need to do what? Because
But
you're
you know-
blaming specifically someone.
Yeah. I don't want to do. No, they have to do it. That kind of thing.
So
Yeah.
again, abstraction is very easy for anyone to kind of argue.
But I mean, how did you guys feel about her argument though? I mean, the fact that she didn't, because seriously, if you were stuck in these zombies, I mean, because I think anybody watching this would go, okay, if they're really walkers out there, they're gonna just devour me, and I had a gun, and there was no way I was gonna get away from them. I mean, doesn't the question go through your head before the bullet? I mean,
It does.
Seriously.
yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of. I mean, I guess Dale was just looking out for her.
Yeah.
But again, who does he? He
My
doesn't
point-
know
exactly,
better.
yeah, exactly. That's my point. Is in this, which is what I love. These guys are dealing with life and death issue every moment, but they're bringing in this question, which is still playing in our society. And we're not dealing with this. But the point of it is, who is anybody to tell somebody else how they're supposed to live?
Well, and it's interesting. Do you think Dale, after that argument, Dale's like, oh, I never thought of it that way? You know, because I think again, Dale was coming at it from,
He thought he was saving her.
yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
now do you
which is
think he's
noble.
reconsidering it or no?
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I would hope so, because there's the whole idea of this is my life, my choice, and for you to infringe upon your values on that choice, is why does your value have more precedent or more value than my choice?
I don't know. It's a very good argument. And I love how you know what? The reason why I like that was kind of like other AMC shows.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad said that we don't want anyone to wear black or white hats. We just want people
They
wearing gray hats.
Yeah, they want a lot of conflict.
And so it presented really great hats
Yeah.
for everyone.
But I mean, I just again had amongst all this, they take just this little bit out to pose a question, societal concern, whatever it is. They make a good argument both ways, and then they move on.
But I think for me, not to get too much into this, but I think in the end, Dale for me was kind of right.
I think so. Why is that?
Because I think as we slowly, at least from this, are seeing, she's kind of even now slowly changing her mind. At least
Yeah.
that's why I feel she gave back the gun to Lori, was because you know what? Maybe there is something better, and maybe there, yeah, it sucks here every day. We're fighting for a lot, but hey, you know what? A brighter day can come, and that's something worth living for and fighting for.
I agree with that part, but here's the thing. I don't think it's anybody's right to take something. If I'm in a situation like that and I've got walkers all around me, they're going to eat my head off or whatever it is. That's my decision how I want to go out, not them, not anybody else's.
They don't have a bill of rights, but that was her property.
Yeah.
I don't think he did have the right to hold it against her will.
I think he could have accomplished what he accomplished without doing that.
Mhm.
And I don't think that anybody has a position. I mean, is in a position to take that away from somebody. And I think he could have accomplished it without taking things away. But she had every choice not to use it, even if she had it. And I always go with somebody's right to choose. It's their life. For me, if you don't have your choice, you're imprisoning somebody in some fashion.
Mhm.
So because that's the only thing we have that sets us apart from anything else is our own choices. Once you
like-
take that away from somebody, you are enslaving them in some way.
I like how this show deals with such major issues in
Amongst
such,
the walkers.
yeah, like
Well, you know
this style. Like, can
That's what I
you
mean.
have a gun or not?
Exactly. They have these. They touch upon this thing, they have this thing, and then they move on because they can't spend any time with it because they've got all this other stuff happening, which is great.
You know what might be interesting? I would really, I don't know if this is a good thing that we're talking about so much, but
Yeah.
if we revisit that scene at the CDC, and because in some sense I could see Dale going back at, hey, my choice was if you're going to do this, I'm going to do this.
Mhm.
And so then who are you to all of a sudden, if you pulled out,
Right.
You left,
Yeah.
and so because you didn't want to kill me, well, my choice was, hey, if you're going to do this, I want to be next to you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it gets really, really complicated.
Yeah, no, which I love. That's great stuff.
It all
It's very
goes back and
complicated.
forth.
And I like that it forces us to go, what would I do? I don't know. That's because I mean, amongst having my flesh being eaten, thinking about that, what would I do in that situation?
And yet you said so. You're kind of going against Dale. Yet you also think Dale's the voice of reason for the
I
camp.
do. I think he's consciousness. He's
Yeah,
conscious.
definitely.
Excuse me. Yeah, I do. I don't think. Again, I think I understand. I think what he did was a noble thing. He was trying to save somebody from harm. I understand that. But for me, the bigger one is the bigger harm is you're treating that person as somehow substandard, not able standard. They're not able to make their own decisions.
Well,
Well,
then-
if you do that, then you are somehow saying that I can choose better for you.
I mean,
And well,
I
he
think
does that
that's a
again
dangerous
this
position to be in.
episode.
I know he does it by not
You are
telling
dead.
anybody fixes the Winnebago. I understand why he does it. I'm not saying it's not a noble effort or it may not be right. I'm saying as soon as you do that, you're saying that you know better than everybody else. And I think that gets dangerous because you don't. You couldn't possibly know what's better for everybody.
And so with the Winnebago, specifically when he's supposed to fix it,
Yeah.
he has fixed it, and it's just between him and T-Bone or T-Dog.
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 Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, so I used to T-Bone's like the
Yeah, exactly.
normal thing.
Yeah.
But yes, T-Dog. He tells him, I was basically pantomiming.
Right.
Um,
Because he didn't want to have the whole
so
thing.
again, is this
about
going to come back into play? I mean,
Of course,
it's
it's
a very
always gonna
repetitive pattern now.
Yeah, well, because that's his character, and I think that's one thing that works great because he'll continue to make those decisions in a position of thinking that, well, I have to do this because somebody has to. And again, I'm not saying it's necessarily wrong. It may not be the decision I might make, but it is going to cause conflict,
Mhm.
and I think it should. Because you're always going to come up with that. I mean, he's going to make decisions for people who say, whoa, I didn't have a say in that. How does your choice get to be better than mine?
It looks like we're entering a shitty society again because you think of like true democracy, and you know what I mean. You would, like as educated people, you would lay out all the
Yeah.
cards, and people would make the right decision. As opposed
Yeah,
to
exactly.
kind
Yeah. Ideally, that's what you would like. That's what we don't like. But I mean, and it is tempting. Hey, believe me, I want to be in a position where I'm making all the decisions because I think I can make better decisions than most people.
Well, I think the big problem, as we've seen in the past episodes in this, is that you just need a quick decision. It may not be the right
Yeah.
decision, but
Yes,
most times,
what's the saying? Sometimes you make the right decision, sometimes you make the decision right. I mean, you just said it. Rick had to make a decision about the girl.
Yeah.
And it had to make a quick one.
and indecision is not an option.
No, not at this point. No, you have to choose one way or the other. That's why I say sometimes you make it right, sometimes you make the right one. So, but I like when they always have to put him in those positions. Got to make him deciding, choosing something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it gets really boring.
That's right.
And this is not that.
so let's
By the way,
talk
what do they call? No, seriously, we got to come up with a word for herd of zombies. There's got to be something better than walkers or herd or something. Because it's a herd of them, like a murder of crows
Yeah.
or a flock of seagulls. What would be? We got to think of something. I mean, not now, but let's just consider that. Anybody else
Yeah.
listening, let's see if we can
Send
come up with
us-
something.
send us your words for a
exactly,
zombie herd.
like a pod, or
what would it be? I
I
don't know.
don't think pack is boring.
Yeah,
pack is
yeah.
zombies now.
So we got like murder of crows is one of my favorites. We got to come up with something better than that, right? Because that's what you call a flock of crows, the murder. So
We do.
yep. So
It was interesting. Ben and I saw the trailers before this a lot,
Mhm.
and so I felt, and Ben, I know you kind of felt the same, that we get that awesome scene of Rick running away from that
So
quote
many,
herd,
so many zombies.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and it didn't happen.
no,
Well,
well, maybe a
I'm
different
guessing.
episode.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be a
it's-
different episode.
Yeah, gotta be.
I'm guessing maybe next episode, but it doesn't really matter.
Imagine, not we were just talking about zombies after this, but imagine if that was like the deleted scene that it's used for the
Just-
trailer.
yeah, just
exactly.
cut that out.
We don't. It doesn't work. Oh, he's in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it happens all the time. So let's talk about Shane for a second. So what do you think of this guy? Because there's a lot of people that don't like him because of what he did, obviously, and there are some people that say he's just really misunderstood.
Well, they complicated it last season when they did go back in time and show that the reason why Rick is alive is because of
Right.
Shane.
Yeah.
Right. Which so that's what I'm saying. That's again going to your point about gray. There's no black or white hat here. There's shades of gray. Because he obviously had enough in him to help his friend. But then, and even though he wasn't sure his friend was dead, he goes to take care of his wife, so to speak.
But based on the situation in the hospital, I think he wasn't just saying he was dead. I think he believed that he was.
You think
dead.
he
There
believed
was no.
So you think
from
he's
how it
innocent
looked,
of
there
that?
was no way he was going to make it.
Okay.
I think he was innocent. I think he
Yeah.
truly believed that Rick was dead.
But don't you think it was really opportunistic to meet up with the wife and all the other stuff that transpired with her?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, he's only human.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
A quick decision, like you said.
I mean, the military was killing everybody in
Yeah.
that hospital.
And
It
he
didn't
was-
matter who you were going to get shot.
Right.
So,
And he
but,
did save him.
but then he does stuff,
Yeah.
and this is what this is what is good and bad about that kind of character. I mean, obviously he didn't saved Rick, all that kind of stuff. And once he learned Rick was alive, he's like, oh, okay,
Just like, whoa,
yeah,
whoa,
whoa, this is weird. I got to back out of
what
here.
am I
But then he
doing
goes, just little things like this with the whole water thing. It just drives me crazy.
Yeah.
The water, the truck. He finds the water truck.
now? All
and
this drinking water.
yeah, they
wasted
need
an
yeah, exactly.
entire
Just,
barrel.
and
Just
I just
to
go,
watch
come
it.
on, who? First of all,
That is purified drinking water,
yes,
man.
and who is dumb enough to do that? And why do you do that? Seriously, is anybody really? I mean, I know it's kind of fun on TV to watch it, but I'm
Yeah.
just okay. Now we're in real life. Who's dumb enough? And if anybody did that, and I was around, wouldn't you go? I would go nuts on that person.
Yeah. Like,
You gonna waste
okay,
water
the one
like
thing
that?
that we need most to survive
Is
really,
water. And
You're
gonna do
take
that.
a bath in it, really.
Exactly. That just drives me crazy. Nothing.
God.
Nothing for you, Phil.
I don't know. It's for me. Rick was the sheriff,
Yeah.
and Shane was always the deputy.
Shane was the partner. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like how this, for me, that dynamic is obviously carrying through, and
Yeah.
I just really want to say, Shane, just stop being a bitch. No, because honestly, that is the cheap way out of I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I can't stay. No, you know what?
Just
You got, a
deal
good
with
thing, you got a good thing going here. You're able to survive.
Right.
You can't be the leader.
Right.
Lori told you no, so just
Get
you know
over
what?
it.
Find love with
Okay.
Andrea. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Could okay, but don't don't you think? I mean, as you tried to say Rick before, is this not a good noble deed to just what this can't exist and I'm making this worse? And is he doing it altruistically to say no, I'm just going to leave, or is it because I can't believe he's really that hurt?
But it's almost like he's eliciting a response.
You think he's
know
being
what I mean?
martyr and trying to get someone to feel bad for him? You think that's what it is?
Well, how does it go about where he tells Lori? Oh, she confronts him, and then he tells her that
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
if he
he's
was
fixing
honestly,
cars. Yeah.
if he was honestly
He
gonna
just
do
done
this,
it.
yeah.
But then you don't get to play that out though. Unfortunately, if you're on a TV show, you don't get to play in that conflict. If you just leave, there's no confrontation, there's no angst, there's nothing about it. So the only way you can do it is you have that scene. I mean, I agree with you. If it was me in real life, I'd have just left.
Well, I mean, this is kind of the cheap and cliche, I guess, way to resolve that is you have him writing a note to Lori of why
Yeah.
he left or whatever. I don't know.
But then you don't have that confrontation between the two of them. You don't get to play that conflict, that drama.
But then you have the dramatic irony that you know he's going to leave, and so
Yeah.
every action he's doing,
Right.
you know why he's doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. And also, if you don't play it, then nobody gets to overhear it. Andrea doesn't get to overhear it. So, and that was interesting too. She decided. I didn't get that whole thing about. She's saying we're the two people that don't belong.
You don't-
Together we make a third wheel.
Yeah, what the heck was that about? I didn't understand.
Shane is out of place with Rick being there. Rick has taken his position in about everything.
Uh-huh.
Rick took his wife back, his son back,
Right.
the leader position back. Andrea lost everything when her sister died. They're the two that don't want to be there and that
Well,
they don't.
does
should be.
anybody want to be there? That's my point. Is it
I think
doesn't seem like
everyone else
anybody
is
wants.
pretty happy with their little group they've got.
Well, but the
Shane
whole
and
the whole
Andrea's
thing
the
that
only two.
well, here's why I'm asking the question because Lori does the whole calling out of everybody, and you all look at him for leadership, and then when something doesn't go right, you want to blame him. So it's not. It seems like all of them have problems. So I didn't get why she's trying to make the point like we're the only two people that
Well, yeah,
the
because
third
I
wheel.
think if you go back to looking at like society,
Yeah.
these are people that do they want. Had you asked them ahead of time, like, okay, who do you want in your group?
Yeah.
Obviously, none of them would have picked each other. But this is what you're stuck with,
Yeah.
and like a real society, like, sorry, you're gonna have to make it work.
But I guess more of the point is, do you think she was saying that to try to butter him up? Because I don't believe that they don't fit in. None of them seem like they fit in. I mean, that's the reason why the group works. They're a bunch of misfits, and they have to band together for safety reasons. So I don't understand what she's making. She's just saying that so she can butter him up so that he goes, okay, let's go together because he won't want to go alone.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely.
Or does she really think that they're just too?
I think she thinks it, but I also think subconsciously she is buttering him up.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because here's the thing: even if they're both the third wheel or whatever, but that doesn't mean you have to go together.
Yeah, I
You
know.
still
It
go
just seemed odd to me
separately.
because like Daryl and T Dog, they don't really seem to be fitting in.
No.
They're
Well, I mean, they're not whining and they're making the best of the situation. Daryl and T-Dog.
yeah. Wonder why they had T Dog cut himself. Like,
It
took him out,
really-
they took him out of the equation.
add
for
some
the day.
tension.
Yeah.
This was a pretty tense episode, I noticed.
Yeah.
It was much more tense than anything I saw in season 1,
Mm.
which is what I heard would happen. So I'm
They upped
satisfied
the
there.
ante.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our favorite.
Favorite
Walker
zombie kills.
kills.
There we go.
Well,
Yeah.
would you guys want to go to a quick commercial?
Let's do
before
that. Let's do that. We'll come back.
This is
We'll
a
talk
fun.
about
This is a fun. This is a
Yeah,
new one,
yeah,
guys.
let's start-
Ready?
okay, here we go. New commercial. Here we go. What's up?
The biggest new media platform on the web just got bigger. More bandwidth, smoother streaming, lightning, fast download. AfterBuzz TV is making the jump to hyperspace. Join the fun at your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Look at the size of that thing.
AfterBuzz TV.
Nicely done.
Those were Star Wars references.
Wow.
I know. Well, just like they promised Walking Dead would be better in season 2. You know,
Wow.
I guess
You
I don't know
stepped
that.
it
I
up
don't get
too.
technical with me. I don't know what that
Oh,
is.
that
but
doesn't matter to me. It was
whatever.
good.
Yeah.
Who do we thank for that? Was that you?
Sir
for that?
Richard Wentworth.
Sir Richard Wentworth comes through again. Thank you, Sir Richard. Very
I
happy to
like
have that. I really like that.
Yeah.
That was nice. Okay, favorite Walker kills. Anybody have a preference?
All right. Well, there are some good ones to choose from.
Yeah, there were. But by the way, I thought the first one with Andrea and the screwdriver.
Screwdriver?
That was nice.
That was up there.
That was
I'm gonna
nice.
count. Okay, the ones in the church. Those
Yeah.
are kind of boring.
Yeah, they were
I mean,
kind of boring,
they're
but it wasn't a
exciting,
church, so that was kind of interesting.
but-
Didn't you love the way Daryl looked at his little thing? Like, oh, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, you can tell he
looked at his-
enjoys it.
Yeah, he
He's a
liked
sick
that.
guy.
Yeah.
Um,
But no, seriously, at that point, if they're
You gotta enjoy the
flesh-eating
little things.
zombies, I'm gonna go to town.
Yeah, I would
You
have
have
fun
to.
with
It has to be done in order for you to survive. You might as well enjoy your work. That's what I gotta say. You know what I mean?
Just like Woody
Enjoy
Harrelson
it.
in Zombie.
Exactly.
Enjoy the little things.
Yeah. So,
All right,
so
the
you didn't really like
crossbow-
any of the ones in the church?
I mean,
They
I
were
obviously
okay.
liked them. but
Serviceable.
There were better ones.
Yeah.
The crossbow to the face.
Yeah, that's
we-
always nice. I love the crossbow.
That was very
It's good,
strategic.
but-
I like that one because
yeah,
you
that
know,
was
You know the
good.
thing I didn't like was this was classic. This is not good. Rick comes all the way around to the front, and Dale's all the way behind him. So
Yeah,
if he misses,
he missed. Rick is.
yeah,
but-
it's not really where you want to be standing.
But you
but
know,
it shows his,
Dale's
it shows his trust.
It shows his trust
Daryl.
and his
you know,
stupidity.
and you know Daryl's not gonna miss.
Yeah.
Really, to me, comes down to the rock to the face.
Yeah,
and
you like the rock. I
screwdriver.
like the throwing of the rock. You mean
The
the second guy?
Oh man, I didn't even think of
That was
the
best.
bashing of
He
the
just-
face.
It's almost like he has a look on his face like, God, I'm tired of this. And then throws.
Hitting the face was good, but
Yeah.
just chucking a rock at their face and watching them drop
That-
was pretty funny.
That was nice. I did like that one. I have to say.
Oh, this is gonna
And see,
be.
that reminded me
really
of the Huck Finn days, where it was glory to punch someone in the head after you beat them up, right? Like you have on the ground and you punch them in the face, and so it was like that. And the Huck Finn quote is, "Oh well, I personally see no glory in punching an ignorant lard face, but I got to." And there you go. So some reference to Huck Finn.
Nice way to bring it in.
Yeah,
Mark Twain.
There you
Smart
go.
guy.
I'm gonna go with throwing the rock to the face.
Throwing rock to the face. Okay, Phil, do you have a favorite?
Rock to the face.
Rock
Yeah.
to the face. I have to say that was the most comical one.
Yeah.
For me, it was the most comical
You
one.
need some comic relief
I
for the
did.
show.
I like the screwdriver just because that was a good one to open with.
That
and kind
was
of set the tone for the rest of
pretty
it.
brutal. If
Yeah.
we do this every week, this is gonna be the most fun show.
Well, I think every week
That's why the show is fun. 'Cause,
Yeah.
it,
Okay, but wait, we have to talk about the gutting.
Oh yeah.
I love that because I thought for sure they were going to cut to the gutting, the actual filleting of this.
I was kind of
walker.
surprised they didn't. I mean,
But they just stayed on their faces. I love when they
you
kept
see
cutting back to Rick and he's
Rick,
just pulling his face away and making that disgusting face. I thought that was nice.
I mean,
Like, great sound design though, huh?
Yeah, I was surprised they cut away. Really,
I am
thought they
too.
showed it in all its glory. There's
Oh,
an episode
glory.
called Gut. The episode in season 1 is called Guts, and you see Rick with a fire axe chopping the legs, arms, and head off of a zombie, and then just going to town on its torso and splattering himself in its blood and guts and
Wow.
stuff. And I was kind of expecting that, except
They
I
did
kind
that.
of enjoyed their faces.
Oh, I thought they were great. They were great. I thought the sound design in their faces was perfect.
It was
And then when
well
he's digging, as he's digging through the abdominal viscera, if I
Yeah.
may, I'm going, how is he going to recognize anything?
done. It's like he's done it before.
yeah, I mean, he has because he's
I
not
mean,
because
he's
you
gutted
can't.
a human
Yeah, well,
before.
maybe not, yeah. I just thought that was just.
And then
And
they
then
cut open
pulling
the
the stringy, sinewy thing out.
When they cut open the stomach, I was like, really, you're gonna identify? Oh, that's not human.
Yeah, well, and,
Then
they did to
they
some
did
degree. Maybe they
find
were thinking they were going to find clothes or something. I don't know,
something,
but it was worth it. And I love it when the mother asks, "How do you know?"
Yeah, you see Rick.
Yeah. Believe me, I know.
Just take my word for it.
Exactly. All right, do we have any more breaks that we need? Because I want to get to a special segment.
Well, we got the commercial break.
Let me do a commercial break. Let's go to that right now, and we'll be back in a second with a special segment.
Want to find out what the AfterBuzz is about? Genesis Drama Club.
This is the divide that is going to carry the series.
Give us a call. 424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
It's television, and they want to be as dramatic as possible.
I mean, it's experience.
You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Find out why AfterBuzz TV is the #1 source for after-show content.
Now, in the eyes of Jimmy, Nucky is a villain.
424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
I mean, who would you guys rather hear that from? Your husband or your master? The wig will come out.
When the TV show is over, get your AfterBuzz on.
All right, here we go.
Such a great opening.
Nice.
It is. I love this.
Yeah, it really sets a great tone. Like a lot. Okay, our special segment. Now this has to deal with our walkers and how do we classify them. At least how they, I guess how the production does it.
Yeah.
And they have 3 different categories for walkers and in varying degrees. So I'm going to toss this over to Ben. Ben, why don't you fill us in on what those are?
So they're on set. They grab a bunch of extras to be zombies.
By the way, people love being the zombies.
It must be so much fun.
Yeah.
And they're classified by Alpha, Beta, and Charlie.
Good. And break those down for us.
I don't know if there's 3 or 4, but
Okay.
if
We
there
know
are
of the
4,
3.
Charlie and Data or Delta are very similar. So,
Got it. Okay.
So Alpha is probably the most fun to be because
Okay.
you get to go get a ton of prosthetics and makeup done, and
Nice.
you look really torn up.
And this will be for the close-ups mostly.
For the
obviously.
close-ups,
So anything
all
with
the
a lot of
zombies up
detail in
front.
it.
If
Yeah.
you're big on camera, like the screwdriver zombie,
exactly.
was Alpha.
Or the machete in the
Yeah,
church.
anybody you see really
And you have a
close.
chance to be iconic zombie. I mean, the little
Exactly.
girl from the first
Yeah.
season, first episode.
The crawling torso in
Uh-huh.
season 1 too.
And the other nice thing is if you're an alpha or even a beta, I would imagine. Well, actually, any of them, you could come back and be another one because it's just different makeup.
Yeah,
Which is
can
nice. You
totally
have
bring it back.
So okay, so that's the
There's-
alphas.
There are betas, which I believe they still get makeup done, just
Right.
a lot less detail.
Yeah, so they're
They just
wide.
make them whiter and
Yeah.
darker around the eyes and such.
Yeah, and they're in a,
some
they're in
red.
a wide shot. not
Yeah,
necessarily
they're in
close.
herds in the
So-
back. And then to save time and money, they just have a bunch of masks for Charlie that
They have masks, so you just
yeah,
put on a
you
mask.
just put on a mask,
you
and
don't
you're all the way in the back.
Yeah,
You're not
so-
if you're seeing it's out of focus.
Yeah,
then
and they
you
can't really tell you.
yeah.
That's great. I love the alpha beta Charlies. That's
Uh-huh.
great. Oh man,
Give
I'm
me all the
Charlie.
Charlies.
Oh, I'm gonna be an alpha.
Uh-huh.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it looks like being on the set would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, and I love watching it because I was just talking to the guys, and it really is a wish fulfillment show. I mean, because who wouldn't want to be in a video game and put a machete to a bunch of zombies?
It is very fun. I'm surprised they haven't kind of come up with a video game. I mean,
They're,
Oh,
there's
they're
Resident
making-
Evil.
they're
they're
making
making it
the
now.
Walking Dead game.
yeah,
Okay.
it's in the
Yeah.
process. I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Good
and
for them.
speaking about that, do you want to go to news and
I
gossip?
do. Let's move on.
Let's go
Let's
to
news
news
gossip.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Here we
we
go.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So there's apparently a video game
There's
coming
a
out.
video game in
AfterBuzz
development.
exclusive. Here we go.
Alright.
AfterBuzz TV exclusive.
There you go.
Not
You
really,
got
but
that? You
okay.
read that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Take over news for us. Read that.
So Glenn Mazzara, I'm not quite sure how to
All right, we'll have to check that out.
Um,
Sorry about that, Glenn. We'll get on that next time.
talked about his feelings on replacing Frank Darabont as the show's new showrunner. He said, I have to find my own voice on the show. This is so important to me, and I don't want the show to feel like Frank White. That's not fair, he tells THR. When The Walking Dead showrunner Frank Darabont was suddenly dismissed from AMC zombie drama, executive producer Glenn Mazzara was rattled. The writer who penned a season 1 episode as a freelancer and was brought in during the zombie drama's off-season as Darabont's number 2 says he panicked after first being up to showrunner. When I was first told, I felt horrible for Frank. I've been through it to some extent, and I know that it's painful. Immediately you ask what happened, what went wrong. Frank was very much in control of the show. I felt bad for my friend. I didn't accept the showrunner position until things were reconciled with him. The things that were said in the press were not entirely accurate. He wanted Frank to be safe, to be settled out. So his rep spoke with AMC and was made showrunner. Or he was made showrunner, which really panicked him. He did not want to be that guy in Hollywood
Sure.
who messed things up on The Walking Dead,
Yeah,
which is
okay.
a beloved show. So he told the cast and crew and everybody that what they're doing is great and he's not changing anything and he's going to keep going with what Frank established.
Well, so just to give you a little background on Glenn, he's been executive producer of Hawthorne for 25 episodes. He was a consulting producer for 11 episodes on Criminal Minds. There was a TV series called Crash, which he was a consulting producer for 13 episodes. And he was a co-executive producer of Life for 10 episodes. And he did The Shield as an executive producer for 16 episodes. And before that, he was this is where he kind of really rose the ranks with The Shield. He was a supervising producer for 15, co-executive producer for 13 episodes, and producer for 13.
Okay, so he's got a pretty good resume then. So
Yeah.
and he's got big shoes to fill. Frank Darabont is a tremendous talent. And we'll see how it goes.
And here's Frank actually helped write. He has a writing. It lists him as having 19 credits on The Walking Dead for writing. So at the very least, it was penned before
Right.
Glenn took over. I mean, do you guys know kind of that whole story? I mean,
No, I don't. And I'm sure that everybody listening probably doesn't know either. So do you have that in mind?
Well, I don't know. It's initially the reports were like AMC fired him or whatever. And I don't know, not to speak ill will of him. I love Frank, but I think he said, you know what, the TV pace is not for me.
Right.
Because last season was only 6 episodes.
Right.
This was 12.
This is
It's
a guy
much
who's
faster.
extremely thoughtful in his movies, that's for sure, and how he approaches those. So maybe that part's true. I don't know. Well, we don't until we speak to him.
Yeah.
We'll have to be guessing.
So that's as good as I know. Again, that's the rumor mill, so I can't confirm or deny any of that.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously his fans were really sorry to hear about that because I think again he's a tremendous talent to be putting all this together. We wish him well. We hope that Glenn taking over is going to be he's going to be choose to fill. We hope he can, and I'm sure he will. Obviously, got to give credit to his list. His name, I should say.
Of course, Glenn said the things that people heard weren't entirely true.
Yeah.
He was in control.
You know, I'm sure we're never going to hear the whole thing.
Yeah, but so
Okay.
far it's looking good.
So far, yeah, it's a great premiere, so that's terrific. All right, what else? We got any other news?
So Sarah Wayne Callies, who plays Lori, says that the second season of The Walking Dead is much wilder than the first season, and that it will make the first season look tame. So,
Well, you already felt that, right? You felt this one was much more tense.
yeah, it was much more tense. I hear it's going to be legitimately scary at times,
Uh-huh.
tense, and obviously the violence was pretty
Yeah.
over the top as
Yeah.
usual.
Well, they did great, just the little moments too. When Carl was opening the door and
Yeah,
having
when-
to get those things
When
out.
they came across that tent.
Yeah, that
Daryl,
tent.
That was,
They do just the little things. They just keep reminding you of the tension, and at any moment someone could get
Yeah.
attacked or whatever. So that they do a good job of that.
so Sarah says that her character is going to become very protective of Rick, and that the pair's relationship will become stressed by their various responsibilities.
Well, we saw that today.
Yeah, she said everyone's expectations start to wear on Rick and erode him, and Lori becomes simultaneously very protective of him and also tries to take the burden off, which again we did
We see a little bit hint of that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the storylines they're going to be playing.
Yeah, Rick and Lori's story in the first 7 or 8 episodes is that of two people trying to protect each other by shouldering responsibilities meant for the other person, and ultimately they collapse under the weight of trying to do that independently.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's good for news.
Anything else you got there, Ben?
Oh, just some ratings.
Oh, what do we got for ratings?
Well, the pilot received 5.3 million viewers, which made it the most watched premiere episode of any AMC TV series. The
Helped
first-
greatly by Mad Men and Breaking Bad, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Viewers did.
the first season finale got 6 million viewers, a series high, with 4 million viewers in the age 18 to 49 demographic. Wow. Making it the most watched basic cable series for that demographic.
Wow.
This is already a very successful show.
Okay.
Love the show.
There's our news.
And you know what? As kind of always, it always helps when you have an Emmy nomination.
Yeah, sure. You can write it.
So,
Okay,
for those of you who don't know, it's probably old news to you, but nonetheless, since it's the first episode we're doing, Walking Dead received 3 nominations at the Emmys for visual effects, sound editing, and prosthetic makeup. They only won 1, which was the prosthetic makeup,
Which they totally deserved.
Yeah,
they did. The zombies look great.
And the
The
last
last get whacked. The alphas look great. I don't know about the betas. They're kind of shaggy. What else you got?
and the last bit of info, the hype really started up back when Comic-Con in San Diego.
Yeah.
That took over. That's when they premiered the 4-minute season 2
Sure.
trailer that really got us hyped. So yeah, we can rewatch that and look forward to moments of those.
All right, then it's time for our predictions. So get your crystal ball out. Let's start making some predictions.
Gotta do some intense
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Well, from the trailer, obviously Carl's going to be tended to by. We're going to meet some new people.
Old people.
Well, okay, old people, but they're new to us. So, and it appears that they were mentioning something about them splitting up the group, and I thought for sure by the end of the episode, before I saw the trailer, I said, "There's no way they're going to split them up." I mean, not for any length of time, but I'm wondering if they would.
But I think it's a matter of if you have options, then you might as well, now you can kind of, well, I don't like this group, so I can go with this group.
Uh-huh.
But if you only have one option, then it's a pretty simple choice.
Right. You mean are you talking about as from a member in the group? You
Yeah,
make
so-
that decision?
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if you're going to split your viewership. Not half or anything like that. But I mean, part of the wonderful tension of all this is that you put those people on a lifeboat, so to speak, and then they have to deal with each other. If you start splitting them up, are we going to stack the scene so that we're just jumping from
story
group to
to
group?
story. Yeah, something tells me they're all going to stick together. I just don't think they would really do that. I mean, because like you said, the chemistry of the group as a whole is part of the reason why the show is so entertaining.
Yeah. Otherwise,
And,
you
it's interesting, based off of the news that the tension is between Lori and Rick being protective of each other, whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like they're really concerned about the kid. You know what I mean? So I think the kid's gonna get
now
kind of
that- yeah, now-
reconciled next episode.
Man,
You know?
geez, what if they let him go?
The kid?
Yeah.
Oh.
Ugh.
Well, again, don't you think that would be a big point of tension?
Sure. Yeah. I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
saying. I mean, the hard choice in terms of
I wonder who the
It's-
shooter was.
yeah, that's true. They didn't answer that. They didn't even hint at that. And where's the girl? They didn't even hint at that.
Oh,
It
speaking of,
was-
I know you wanted this, what the CDC guy said to Rick.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that brushed aside, or are we?
Yeah, are they going to bring that back? And the way they opened it up with, he said he was talking to Morgan on the walkie-talkie, and he says, "Hey, the scientists of the CDC said, oh, never mind, doesn't matter what he said. So either they don't want to follow that storyline, or they're just going to bring it back later. But at some point, they have to bring it back. They got to somehow try to understand and try to undo what's happened. That's my guess.
They got to bring Morgan and Dwayne back. I want to see them.
You want to see
And
that? Of course, yeah, they were really.
If he finally, did it, killed his wife.
Yeah. Man.
There's so many stories.
Tough one.
All right, any other predictions you guys got?
Let's see.
Prediction: Gus from Breaking Bad was the shooter. Because he's okay with putting kids in harm's way.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you for that insightfulness,
Yes,
Ben.
I'm sure he did that before he got blown up, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that was our AfterBuzz for the Walking Dead season premiere, season 2, episode 1. What lies ahead? We will see you next week. I'm your host John Comerford with Phil Speedtech and Big Ben Bottomley.
Any plugs you guys have?
Follow Phil on Twitter.
At PD Speedtech. Thanks, John, for
There
that.
you
quick
go.
plug. Hey, John, you want to give a Tammy a plug?
Sure.
Tammy's Jewelry.
Tammy's Jewelry. You can see. You can go to tammyjewelry.com. You can also see some of her videos there for her.
She's the Martha Stewart on a dime. And so when you're in a zombie apocalypse and have no money,
Yeah.
you're going to want to make this kind of
That's right.
jewelry.
Yeah,
Not that it's poor jewelry, but it's with the resources you have, make insane jewelry.
Or if you need to learn how to cook zombie to make it taste good in order to survive, Tammy's the one that can show you how to do it.
So what is that? Tamara?
Tamara, like as in camera, but it's Tamara, tamarajewelry.com.
There you go. All right, we'll see you next week.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Kennedy, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network.